All right, Thailand cannabis update. Thailand has enforced prescription-only cannabis dispensaries. Cannabis dispensaries must register as medicinal only or medical only. Tourists now need a Thai prescription, not Thai scripts. Not you can't go there with your international script and get that filled or expected to be okay going through the airport, I believe. So you might want to be careful on that. Need Thai scripts and you need Thai scripts to access, I guess. But I would be careful on your travel if you plan on traveling with any. And a controlled herb bill is due in Parliament. I mean, there is a problem if you are traveling with stuff. I mean, you can go, I believe, I know you can travel nationally. I don't know how it works internationally, even if you are going from a legal cannabis region to another illegal cannabis region, because most of the federals still isn't it? It's mostly just regions within countries or states. States within countries. United States Typescripts and a controlled herb bill is due in Parliament, which is coming the end of month or something, or next month I think it is, which is the one that's changing it all, I believe. And you're opposing, your pro weed guys have tabled a rival bill to try and keep the industry and tourism pumping. It's the shit has hit the fan over there in regards to the cannabis situation, I suppose. So after the last chat or the last update, they did publish that properly, or I think it was on that day that we had the last update. They'd published that in the Gazette. Tomorrow's the cut-off day for all your shops and stuff to be in line. So basically, if they were sort of targeting recreational more than anything, they want to have corrected that and be basically making sure that they're specifically at medical patients, which is that was there before, like we've said. And you'll find a lot of the ones there was plenty over there that were doing that already. I mean, they're meant to have a doctor on site too, which is all part of it. So that's saying that bill is basically, the controlled herb bill is saying anything above 0.2% of THC is now reclassified as a narcotic. Any flower above 0.2%. Once that bill was voted, in properly. There might be updates here. Where are they? We go here. There. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Shit. Let me go here. Here we are. That's not going to work either. Sorry. Go here. This will work. All right. So that's that one. No, that's not the one we want. It's the same thing basically. The one we want goes a bit deeper into the bill, which is this one. Yeah, I think this is it. Cannabis hemp economy. Yep, okay. So the pro weed guys are fighting to save the Thailand adult use. So allow everyone who's an adult, so basically 20 or over, to continue as it sort of has been in the past 3 years. Their bill keeps recreational cannabis legal inside licensed green lounges. So, I mean, it was meant to be like that anyway. I mean, there was plenty of lounges if they were set up properly, and they were set up like they actually set the requirements in here for, which is filtered air and things like that. It's further down, we'll get into it. Cannabis legal inside green lounges and protects your rural growers. So they actually want to put a cap on locally grown sold product, or if you like the other way around, you know, put a cap on imported sold product. So your bill versus the ministry plan. So yeah, your pre-weed guys are going no THC cap, which means, you know, no 0.2%. So let's just keep it as it is, whatever. I don't see any problem with that. Hasn't been a problem so far for the past 3 years. Lounge is okay, so, you know, have this 20 plus lounges available, which, like I say, in my experience, most of the best places there were the ones that already had lounges and things like that available. Community quotas, I think they're talking about the quotas for the local growers, and you know, impairment driving tests. So what's that word? You know, basically a well, testing your impairment, you know, your ability to drive rather than the level of THC or whatever in your system. So, and the ministry is opposing that with their idea of having 0.2% THC or higher is reclassified as a narcotic in flower. Everything's prescription only, no lounges. And if you've got any THC in your system on the road, you're banned from driving. Adult use rules, like we're saying, that's 20 plus, 30 gram flower limit for the public. So if you can walk around with 30 grams or more, or less, sorry, which there's plenty to walk around with, isn't it? Home use or licensed lounge only. Yep, fair enough. Okay, so because you weren't actually allowed to smoke in public areas anyway before, people were just kind of abusing that a bit. I mean, even I smoked in the back streets when I think about it, but I wasn't really thinking, to be honest. I was thinking it was out of public eye, which I guess technically it was, but it's not. I mean, they are saying, you know, designated areas, which that's fine. Home use or designated lounge, whatever, as long as there's plenty around. It is a little bit rough though, isn't it, when you think about it, because it does limit people's ability to access their medicine. Okay, so your lounges, up to 120 square meters, or maybe that's to be a minimum of 120 square meters for the air or something. Anyway, filtered air, CCT cameras, and primarily Thai flower, Thai grown flower to be, and landrace to be grown there, to be sold there. 10 milligram edibles. So about a dozen of them. Might get you somewhere. Farmer quotas, 70% lounge stock from Thai grow up. So yeah, basically the same, you know. Well, 30% only from imports or outside of Thai, or big corporate sort of growers, I suppose, things like that. Trying to protect your little growers, which is good, I guess. Well, that is good. I guess that's what they're trying to do there. Growers capped at 15 rye each, so I think that's only 2.2 hectares or something. And what have I got here? Let me ask something in the background, I suppose. What is it? What is rye? I did have something else somewhere when it rye say 2.2 hectares. Which is, sorry, 15 rye, which is rye or whatever it is there, sorry. Co-op quota 15 rye, 15, pretty sure it's 2.2 hectares thereabouts. Actually can't find my previous note there. Probably shouldn't have condensed it down so much. I condensed it down a bit because I thought it'd be easier, but I may have lost some of my detail in doing so a little bit, I suppose. Yeah, that doesn't mention it there either. I guess not. 15 right. Anyway, I believe it is about 2.2 hectares. I'm just making sure. I definitely can't find it there somewhere. No. come on, where is it? Alright, I haven't got it there. I must have been tripping. I'm sure I had it written down somewhere else, but it's not there. Tourists, yeah, watch out for Aussies. I mean, this is another important one. No walk-in joints, a doctor consult, which is 800 baht plus. That's fucking fair bit, actually. Anyway, tourists, so they're saying you no longer can just walk in and get your herb. Fuck, it was good. You got to get a doctor consult, which they're going to charge you 800 baht for, plus the script, plus Thai script is mandatory. Yeah, possession without a Thai script, and you're looking at up to 1 year in jail, which obviously you don't want to do, especially in Thailand. You know, it's not any time. Import rumours. Bangkok Customs is screening parcels labelled herbal tea. Okay, so it's a couple of Aussies, yeah, that's right. Posted some shit home and got in trouble for it, I guess. Investment risk, yeah, okay, and there's a lot of people are now a little bit worried about their investments in Thailand, given the fairly, I mean, like I say, a lot of this stuff was actually in. Oh, there it is, 2.4 hectares, by the way, for 15, right. So, yeah, a lot of this stuff with the doctors being required and it being all medical was the case anyway. But, like I say, they kind of let it run a bit. And then, to be fair, people may have misunderstood a bit over there. Obviously, some didn't. But they've just run with it. They've just seen and gone with it, you know what I mean? We've been plenty like that who just saw what was going on and jumped in on there, as part of something that they could make money from doing instead of starving or whatever. Whatever else, yeah, I mean, it is really going to hurt a lot of people, the way they're changing it here. Anyway, let's see, and I don't think it's actually going to be better for anyone. Let's go back to the shorter notes there for a moment. Come back to it. We'll go through some articles too, sure. Based on what these notes came from. No raw imports. They're saying actually. I didn't realise that was what they're doing. Thai grown flour. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look at this part too. Actually, what licensed green lounges would look like. Okay, so your floor area minimum. Okay, so that is a minimum. I was right. Yeah, 120 meters squared. Negative pressure, HVAC, carbon filters. Which, personally, if I had had the money and been set up over there, that's what I would have done anyway already. It would have all been set up, and I know other places that had done it like that. So I'm guessing they've got no worries. Moving into it easy enough. Menu, Thai grown flour, single serve edibles, 10 milligram THC per piece, okay. 0 alcohol herb mocktail. So in other words, okay, I didn't actually see those. Oh no, they were. Yeah, they were. There's lots of weed cocktails and stuff going on. Spoon, I didn't actually try one. But yeah, herb mocktails. So they're gone. Is it? No, hold on. They're allowing that. 0 alcohol though. 0 alcohol mocktails, instead of the herb cocktails, which was what was going on, I believe. Staff, 1 government certified cannabis steward per 25 patrons. Okay. And basic first aid certified. CPR and basic first aid certified. Okay, all right. Hours 10 a.m. to midnight closed. Oh, that sucks. I was out at one of them till 3 a.m. It was great. 2 o'clock in the morning. 10 a.m. to midnight, but they were open all night, I believe, till like 4 a.m. Closed on Mahabuka, the various holidays. Public holidays. Point of sale systems, real-time seed to sale software like the FDA servers, proof of age scan mandatory. The ministers call the lounge idea a red line, but may trade ground on farming caps and import bans to keep the coalition intact. Okay. Yeah. Pardon me. I mean, that is the point, isn't it? If they can't get along, they've got bigger problems. Well, if they can't find a middle ground, they've got bigger problems here. A merged committee is likely in August, September. Okay, we went that. But we should see some, yeah, that's when we'll see what goes on with their trading on, you know, and deciding what they're going to give and take from each other. And find that middle ground and compromise, hopefully. So what have we got? Q4, so yeah, fourth quarter of this year, combined majority report returns, yep. So what are we looking at? Full adult, say we could go a number of ways, of course. Full adult use, which means, you know, the sort of stays as is, kind of, and then your lounges, the new proposed green lounges, will launch from mid 2026. If they, well, there's a compromise ground, so they may allow lounges in tourist zones only, which is what I was actually looking for in that other article, as well. We'll go back to an article in a second. And higher THC tax. Higher THC tax. Or possibly, you know, the clause act adult use ends, prescription only, and when we go that way, prescription only regime from the 1st of January 2026. So the first two are preferable, of course, and the last one, you know, I mean, I think it'll be a big back step. Last one, if that's the one. So yeah, so the lounge thing is obviously that's trying to correct the fact that it has kind of just run a bit wild and out of control, I suppose, for the last 2 years. So they're you know, taking to the table some restrictions while keeping the whole recreational market and tourism, or extra tourism, or probably better tourism than the usual drunks and sex addicts that probably go there. Surely it's got to be a better class of tourists. I'm not saying that they're not drunks and sex addicts too, some of them, but I'm saying, you know, I'm saying it's probably, the balance has probably been outbalanced more nowadays. I don't know, maybe not. Fuck, I know. By tying farmer quotas to the bill, yeah, okay, so they're trying to win over the you know, and keep their small votes and the farming vote. The party frames THC limits as unscientific, banking on committee testimony from Thai. Yeah, well, okay, that's true. Because it's not just the THC levels, is it? It's the terpenes as well. It's important in the whole thing. Let's go back to the other one. 2.2 hectares, no raw imports. Tax split, 12% excise, 9% treasury, 2% local health, 1% towards police education. So that was, where do I have that here? I've got that here. So you got your licensing and stuff. So you'd have licensing for cultivation, processing, retail, consumption. So your lounge, dispensary, spa kind of thing. So three licensing tiers. Lounges cannot sell alcohol. Yeah, well, I think that's fair. I guess it takes away from one or two of them. Like there was Zumba, I think it was, or something. Not Zumba, that's a fucking exercise thing. But anyway, some like pretty cool place there. But it was a bit of both. But I'm not going to disagree with that. I prefer stoners to drunks, to be honest, and yeah, I'd rather a stoner lounge than a drinking lounge. But it doesn't. I don't know. Because some of us are responsible drinkers, aren't we? So it's a bit fucked. Community quota, 70% of lounging. Yeah, okay, so 70% has to come from registered co-ops, farmers. We already went through that. Yeah. Mandatory potency and heavy metals testing. Well, yeah, I agree with that. There should be some kind of safety and regulation going on in the testing there, because I don't believe there is any. So it is one of the drawbacks. You'll only find that that's why you might want to be careful what you actually do go and buy in Thailand, because only some of them are really doing it properly, testing their product and everything afterwards before sending it to market. But I guess that's about to change a little bit. National level, so administrative fines up to 2 million baht. Oof. Criminal penalties only for unlicensed dealing or underage sales. Okay, so that was, I was looking for the province ban is what they're looking at. Province may ban lounges via 2/3 council vote. Can't ban medical dispensaries. No, that's right. 20 plus, which is the same as alcohol over there. So you can have your passport scanned or get some, the Thai ID. Possession 30 gram, 5 gram of concentrate, equivalent in public or home storage, uncapped if secured. Well, that's a bit fucked, isn't it? So you can only have 30 grams at home as well. That's not very much. You can have more than that here. You can have 60 grams here. I believe it is, isn't it? It might be more than that even. No, it's about that something. 45. Yeah, that's right. Police instructed to ignore odor alone. Yep. 1 in 20. Yeah, we've gone through that. Live rosin products: flour, live rosin, vaporizer pods, edibles. No hash or BHO shatter, viewed as high harm products. Yeah. I reckon they are. I don't know. I guess maybe if you only have, no, I don't know. People only have that kind of stuff and they're fine. I suppose it just depends on you. And not really the drug, and it depends on you and not the drug so much. Brands can advertise inside lounges, not on social media. Yeah, okay, so you can, that's pretty cool, that'd be right. They can still advertise their stuff. What's the marketing? Plain packaging, olive drab, so tombstone branding. Lounges may display a 30 centimetre leaf logo only. Well, I think they really have taken a step out of Australia's, look down here, because we discussed that just the other day too, about all the recent, or APRA going after the dispensaries and things here for their advertising, or possible misuse of advertising or abuse of their prescriptions or something. Did do a talk, we went through the articles yesterday, but I am going to come back to that too tomorrow or this evening perhaps. What have we got? Yeah, okay, so they're really, I'm going to do some more things here on the current figures, but basically they are, they're going to It's going to be a bit of a mess over there. I think you're fine for a little until it, oops, you know, until it's set exactly what's going on, and you know, bills are passed and everything. I suppose you won't really know exactly what they're gonna what it's gonna be like. It is a shame. It does seem to be going down a path it won't come back from very easily. Yeah, so you know, you can't have anything in your system um, for driving or jobs, of course. Tomorrow again, like I say, the grace period ends for all those shops. So if they haven't already changed their marketing to be for medical cannabis and have a doctor on board to supply scripts and things like that, then they may have issues. The authorities may come in and say hello. Late July bill. So yeah, okay, we'll see that bill enter the House, and then by August, September, they'll vote on it, and then we'll really see what is going on. At the moment, it's still, you know, I mean, like I say, they're going to start. The grace period ends tomorrow for those kind of things, which was all already in law anyway. So that's why that'll be happening anyway. But the other adjustments coming in with the bill, I guess we'll see August, September. So yeah, street stalls are dead from August, September possibly, and it'll be high class velvet fucking rope herb lounges to come. So it looks like that might be the way it's going. No more, you know, the street vendors and things like that, which was pretty cool in my opinion. I didn't buy any weed off any of the street vendors, to be honest, but I thought, you know, I admired what they were doing. They were having a crack. And now I assume that they'll be much like the rest of the vape sellers and things that are there on the street still, even though vapes are illegal in Thailand. I'm guessing they're going to remain and they'll run the gauntlet, because to be fair, I think a lot of these people, quite, you know, a lot of people they're doing it, like selling things that are breaking the law, are desperate. That's why they're doing it. I mean, I don't know if you've been there. I mean, you walk down the street and that's what you've got. People selling all sorts of stuff down the side of the road in Thailand there, down the main drag in Bangkok and things. Just about anywhere you go, really. But you'll also, you know, alongside those people who are selling, you know, running little stalls and things, you've got the others who they're just beggars. They really have nothing else going for them. So, you know, I guess this gave some people a bit more of a chance. So I guess you might even see a return to more beggars as well, and vape sellers. But anyway, there's a Thai update. That's what's going on over there. Hopefully we hear something more positive come out of it when they actually get the changes done. The news articles I was going through for them are pretty much what we've just covered anyway, I believe. So don't know if there's much point going through these. No, that's all. Medical training and staffing. Doctor training begins on July 16th, with 2,000 physicians expected to complete courses. That would create a ratio of about 1 doctor per 10 cannabis shops, based on the current number of establishments. So that's not enough. Which led Dr. Somlerk to conclude that most shops would have to close. So 9 in 10 shops would have to close. Cannabis shop staff training starts 17th. Okay, so that's doctor training. Staff starts 17th, expecting 100,000 participants. Authorities have inspected, okay, so they've already started, 1,565 shops since the announcement, resulting in 82 license suspensions. 5 revocations, 322 closures, and 7 prosecutions. Dr. Somler, actually, I might just pull this one up. One sec. Where is it? This one is actually relevant, so I'll pull it up for a sec. Where we go? Oh. There you go. That's it. Let me find it. It's got me going. I get that there, please. That's all right. Medical training. So currently 69 growers. Okay, so let's go up a little bit. And neighbours must be feeding their dogs. Yeah, okay, so this is the one, let's start from there basically, so the rest we've covered in the prescriptions and everything. But this is good. I mean, cannabis must meet strict standards with minimal heavy metals, so of course, they want to be testing it for, everything, mold. Currently 69 good agricultural and collection practices, certified good agricultural, certified. Cultivation plots nationwide can produce 71,850 kilograms of dried cannabis flowers annually, with 24,000 kilograms exported and more than 40,000 kilograms for domestic use. Growers with 51 additional plots are awaiting certification to boost production to 125,000 kilograms yearly. Okay. Dr. Solomon said clinics would be allowed to stock only cannabis from a plantation source that has been certified to ensure appropriate levels of CBD and THC. So I guess that's where we'll see the point 2 if that gets into effect, but I think that's not going to help anyone. It was really good while it lasted over there, I can tell you that. That would create a ratio about, okay, we went through that, yeah, so they're basically going to close 9 in 10 shops. 9 in 10 of your shops over there apparently will have to close because they estimate or, calculate they won't be able to get a doctor on site and therefore won't be able to comply with the law. Which is why as we can see, they've actually already started doing that, even though they've got till tomorrow. So even though they've got a grace period till tomorrow, they've already inspected 15,065 shops, suspended licenses, and revoked them. Shut 322 shops and 7 prosecutions, but I thought they said there was a grace period until tomorrow. Maybe they could just... I feel sorry for the guys over there that had, crews that had some nice tidy setups going. Yeah, most of the shops now operate. Well, we now know that it's 9 in 10 of the shops will not be able to operate or meet the strict new requirements. The ministry is moving ahead quickly with new restrictions to ensure that only medical use of cannabis will be allowed, backed by standardised prescriptions, reports the Bangkok Post. The transformation is expected to be completed by the end of this year. Well, that's what they're saying, 1st of January. For what happens. He was responding to concerns expressed by cannabis advocacy networks, saying cannabis usage has increased tenfold to 1.5 million users since it was decriminalised. That's just because they're already there, you fucking idiots. It hasn't increased. You're just seeing it now. They're all, that's what's there. They're here too. That's just crazy. I mean, it hasn't increased, mate. They're just that they're not hiding anymore, is what it is. There's no increase. That's just that your 1.5 million cannabis users have decided they no longer had to hide, and we're able to live a normal life. Fuck. Since it was decriminalised. So anyway, it's not, decriminalisation doesn't make people smoke more, mate. I hate to break it to you, but no, that's been proven time and time again that legalisation, decriminalisation doesn't increase the amount of smokers or, users. And there might be a spike in it initially, perhaps sometimes, but not. It doesn't really. I mean, what you're seeing is the people that were just not hiding anymore, and now that you're going to have to make them hide again, a lot of them. That's done. Decriminalisation took place in the absence of a law to regulate cannabis. Yeah, that's true. Leading to the explosion in recreational use, which we saw. Yep. The advocates have questioned how authorities expect to restructure the US billion-dollar business in practical terms. Well, that's what we've been discussing, isn't it? That controlled herbs announcement that we've gone over, June 26, requires anyone wanting cannabis for medical use to obtain a prescription from a licensed member of one of 7 we went through that the other day, the 7 authorised medical professions. And the shops must use that for 33, whatever, however you say it, sorry. Prescription form. Okay. What's that? Telemedicine. Okay, so they are looking to integrate, because it does say there's no online sales anymore, but they're looking to do telemedicine. Well, they've clearly looked at Australia's model too, and trying to follow the same fucking thing we've got going here. They're backpedaling on their recreational market. I mean, they, like I say, sort of, because they did actually have that in place, and the fact you needed a doctor and stuff originally. But yeah, they're clear, like their whole restrictions on advertising and all this kind of stuff. It's falling in line, isn't it? But I mean, they honestly do. They think it has increased, and they really, how can they not realise that? I mean, everywhere. I mean, they say that everywhere, don't they? It's half the reason they let places run a bit, in centralised spots. So they can, if it gets carried away in that one centralised spot, then they can sort of point at it and go, look, this is why we shouldn't legalise weed or something like this, Whereas if it was just normal, worldwide, you wouldn't have this, you wouldn't have the craziness that goes on when somewhere does give an avenue for it, like Amsterdam or Colorado or, fucking various states in America now, and Thailand used to, currently sort of still does, used to. And the rest of that article we covered. I'll see if there's one more interesting one before I clock off, because there is actually some Australian updates I want to cover too, which I'll pass into another video for. But give me one sec. I'll come back to this one. Let me see if I can find this other one I had lined up, the other article. That's that one, and I had I need to get one of those extension things. I think that's how I'm going to beat the bottom a little bit of with these filters. They give a little bit of thing come through. One to fit these though, a little extension. I've got one. Fit those. Okay, Phuket News, that was that one we looked at, I believe. Let me just double check. Yep, that's the Thailand Cannabis Clinic Transformation Explained. Or maybe that wasn't that one. That wasn't. Phuket limits cannabis dispensaries to medical zones. That was the other one I was looking for. Yeah. Same paper, isn't it? That's right. Oh no, that is that one. Okay, so for some reason that one's wrong because it's the link's correct, but it brings up that article that's about the heat wave. Heat melts income of outdoor venues. Let me just quickly scan there, but there's no, okay, I don't know why. There is nothing in that article about cannabis whatsoever. But the link is Phuket limits cannabis dispensaries. So the link, yeah, okay, so the link, there's a mix up on the link on that one. So I can't actually go through that one properly. 300-meter buffer from schools for the pot shops. I guess we'll have a quick look at that because that probably covers a lot of the shit. Chiang Mai designates green corridors as well. Oh, okay. Let's have a look at this one, I suppose, because and then we'll come back to the sort of shop requirements. Tourism Authority FAQ update. So your cannabis rules for visitors. Let me see if this is going to give us the right link this time. Ah. No, FAQ not found. Let me give you a... Let me try and find it here. Let's go to the beginning. No, works, no. Can I search your page, sir? No, apparently not. Not through their own search anyway. Let me just... No, alright, I'll search it. Site on, yeah, that one, and we want to find cannabis on there. Change my keyboard, so I've got to get used to it again. Cannabis flower now strictly regulated in Thailand. That was the one from the... Yeah, okay, so that's... This is the one we want. A new regulation effective 23rd June 2025 reinforces the ban on recreational use and strengthens control over cannabis flower with active enforcement now underway. All right, let's have a look. I'll pull this up. Where are we? Put me down here again. There we go. All right, let's go through this one. I'm just going to do that as well. All right, so cannabis flower now strictly regulated in Thailand. Important notice for tourists. New regulation effective 23rd June 2025 reinforces the ban on recreational use and strengthens control over cannabis flower with active enforcement now underway. So if you're there now, just make sure you're following the new law. The Tourism Authority of Thailand, TAT, advises all visitors that as of 23rd June 2025, cannabis flower is now, oh, enlarge that too, I think that's a bit small for you, is now classified as a controlled substance in Thailand. This follows the issuance of a new regulation by the Ministry of Public Health under the Thai Traditional Medicine Wisdom Protection and Promotion Act, BE 2552, 2009, which revokes and replaces the earlier directive from November 2022. All right. While cannabis was removed from the narcotics list in 2022, recreational use has never been legally permitted in Thailand. I've said this a few times, remember? It just sort of was in a grey area. The law has always intended cannabis to be used for medical, research and health-related purposes only. The new 2025 regulation closes legal gaps and imposes stricter rules specifically on the use, sale and handling of cannabis flower, the part most often misused. Okay. Okay. I would have thought, oh, this is because everyone smokes flower, isn't it? I suppose. Okay. If everyone was using oils, I'd say that was the part most often misused. That doesn't really make sense. Anyway, under the 2025 regulation, stricter enforcement is now in effect nationwide, and the authorised use, possession, or purchase of cannabis flower remains illegal unless you've got a prescription. Unauthorised use. Okay, yeah, sorry. Tourists are strictly prohibited from using, buying, carrying, or transporting cannabis flowers unless they have a valid prescription issued in Thailand by a licensed medical professional in Thai traditional medicine, Chinese medicine, or dentistry. There's 7, like we've said previously. There's 7 professions that they're allowing to issue those. So if you're there now, get onto that straight away, especially if you're planning to travel around locally, in nationally with your prescription on you, or your cannabis on you. Even in such cases, oh, what's this? Even in such cases, dispensation must be limited to what is medically necessary for treatment and must not exceed a 30-day supply. Yeah, okay. So they're trying to limit some. There must have been some kind of trafficking going on, I suppose. People must have been, well, they must be concerned about what people were carrying. When I had it on the plane over there, I didn't have more than 30 grams, but this is before you had to have a prescription and everything as well. This is such a shame, but anyway, like I say, it was actually the case anyway. Shops or stalls offering cannabis for smoking. Shops or stalls offering cannabis for smoking, especially those targeting walk-in customers, may be operating outside the law. Tourists should not, yeah, okay, so, like I say, these exist anyway. Tourists should not assume that cannabis products on public display are legal or safe to purchase. So in other words, like I say, with the vapes and all that, it's still all there. Authorities are actively cracking down on unlicensed businesses and monitoring cannabis sales in popular tourist areas. The law also prohibits the sale of cannabis products online via vending machines or through any form of advertising. Yeah, we've been through that. Sales are not permitted. So basically, okay, let's get back to the main part here. TAT strongly urges all visitors to exercise caution, avoid purchasing or consuming cannabis flower in any form, and seek clarification from licensed medical providers or official sources before engaging with any cannabis-related product. What may have appeared tolerated in the past was never legally authorised. Okay, so that is true. I did say that there was a tolerance thing going on, and Thailand does have a level of tolerance. So maybe it's part of the Buddhist culture that's still in there. But like everywhere, culture's been very mixed up now too. Staying informed and compliant will help ensure a safe and respectful visit to Thailand. So basically, if you're going and you want to smoke weed in Thailand, you better get that prescription sorted as soon as you get there. Oh, well, I reckon that pretty much covers the latest updates. I mean, that article there kind of, does back up everything else we've sort of gone through, and all the other articles I was looking at. And there's quite a few. I won't open them all up. But yeah, that one, I mean, that covers it there anyway. It even mentions about the people who, or some of them, it gives you 3 of them at least anyway, that can prescribe it for you. But if you look back, that was also mentioned previously in the video here. Well, it is a shame. So it is a shame to see that Thailand's going kind of backwards, but like we say, that they're just enforcing the laws that were there, but also, I guess at the same time, because of the way it ran out of control a bit, they're possibly tightening up more than they may have. But I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is perhaps if the shops and the dispensaries hadn't run with that grey area and kept themselves regulated and within that sort of law, and had the doctors and things like that all operating, and we're doing it all like that 100%, rather than just have it in place ready to roll, maybe we wouldn't be seeing such a kickback with the bill being proposed, the changes, because that's definitely going to make things a lot different over there, especially as the fact that they're already enforcing it. Anyway, people, I'll be back later with an update for here, for local. If you haven't already, like and follow, subscribe, join us on Patreon. Enjoy it.